Hello, and welcome to the Healing Our Cultural Wounds podcast. I'm Paul Croce. I'm recently retired from 30 plus years of teaching history in academic classrooms at Stetson University. It's in DeLand, Florida, USA. Now I'm applying what I've learned from students and from scholarly research to talk with citizens of all ages about their concerns and their hopes. Mine too. This podcast series has stories from our past and our present about hurts from the ways we disagree. And it provides ways to turn those obstacles into opportunities.
Be sure to check out Paul's Substack to read essays that cover similar topics as these videos. There are more of them, and they are published regularly.
Please note that all copyrighted images and audio belong to their original creators. This video is for educational purposes only. Thank you and enjoy this episode of the Public Classroom Podcast.
Hi, I'm Paul Croce. Welcome to the Public Classroom Podcast. This is the third episode in the series, Healing Our Cultural Wounds. Today's topic is Halloween. Lessons from children about learning across our differences. It's opposite day. Borrowing from Kid Talk, that describes Halloween. It's the one day of the year we focus on creepy things, scary scenes, and even evil and death. That's stuff on the opposite side of all we strive for most days. Disagreements? Polarized divides? Forget about it. This holiday is a chance to look across some really primal divides. The comfortable and the creepy, the good and the bad, life and death. Call it Learning Across Differences, the dark and scary episode. Lots of scares, yes, but not always so dark. That's some pretty heady stuff. Psych! Heady, yes. But for most kids, Halloween means fun and a party night. Somehow those dreadful thoughts don't weigh children down. In 1976, the band Blue Oyster Cult put those thoughts to music, suggesting, "Don't fear the Reaper." Their words are downright stoic in acceptance of fate. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind or the sun or the rain. We can be like they are, don't fear the reaper. Apparently, children also don't fear the dark sides of life, at least when readily contained within the playful settings on October 31st each year. All of us, children included, fear real life tragedies. Maybe they have some clues for the rest of us from the magic they pull out of Halloween. How do they do that? Time to turn the tables, with the older set learning something from the kids. Halloween is for make-believe scares. Every other day of the adult world is filled with bleak realities. From environmental disasters and bloody conflicts to culture wars and political gridlock. And a lot of adults are hurting, looking for ways to deal. Maybe they could use some tips from the ways children deal with the darker sides of life. How about a closer look at the thinking of children and the experiences of Halloween? Turns out I live in the middle of a potential field study. I live in DeLand, Florida, a town of about 40,000 people. It's the county seat and home to Stetson University, where I work as a history professor. When arriving in town 36 years ago, I was not prepared for how big Halloween was on our street. In 1987, by late evening, I ran out of candy. Since then, our Halloween has only grown. One family has put up a karaoke stage on their driveway. Another let a spinning wheel dictate what treats to give away, ranging from a large chocolate bar to a little bag of lint. Yes, laundry lint, and lots of more digestible treats in between. Another brings in a barbecue pit, and with support of the local Rotary Club, gives away 1,500 hot dogs. In the last few years, when not dampened by COVID-19 at least, the trick-or-treaters on Minnesota Avenue have been in the thousands, literally well over 2,000, with little ones coming by as the sun is setting, and then, as darkness falls, they grow. This is a small town. But Mega Halloween gets big here. It's in a neighborhood with a mix of shops and houses, mostly single family. The parents in one trick-or-treating family said they like coming to Minnesota Avenue because they think it's a safe neighborhood, to which their children shouted, "And with the best treats!" With kids of all ages converging from lots of surrounding cities and many different neighborhoods, we see a broad range of American society. With people descending from many communities, class and race differences get muffled. Who is behind that fanciful outfit and scream mask face anyway? At this mega scene, with people filling the sidewalks and the streets and the fronts of houses, everyone gets along. After all, they're all united by a common purpose, filling their bags and buckets with treats. Halloween, the great equalizer. Most of the revelers probably come for all the cool things my neighbors do. I'm the local egghead, talking to the kids about their outfits and listening for some of the fun and interesting things they say. For over a decade, working with many students and friends, I've been keeping track of the outfits and making note of the comments made by the actual kids within the costumes. For more than a decade of stories about Mega Halloween, see the link on the screen, which is also in the description below. Over the last few years, the most popular outfits have been cats, witches, and pirates. What's it going to be this year? Any ideas? Cast your vote in the comments section below. How do kids get their ideas for outfits? Well, their sources range across folk and popular culture. Folk inspirations for Halloween outfits show the influence of family, local life, or traditions. One teenager borrowed from parents' work at a local grocery store to be a Publix employee for the outfit. Quite a few swim by as local wildlife, including West Indian manatees, and Little Red Riding Hood is a perennial favorite, along with butterflies, especially monarchs, spiders, like the big one with the huge web pictured down the street here in the slide. And by the way, spiders are a favorite for hybrids. There's spider princesses, spider zombies, even a spider police officer. We always catch our crooks. And dogs, but always outnumbered by cats. Despite the strong showing for folk culture at Mega Halloween, the majority of outfits are taken from popular culture, with children's choices outsourced to the characters in movies, TV shows, and video games. These kids are in tune with national trends and have their finger on the pulse of mass culture. Recently, there have been a lot of pirates, but they don't always follow folk traditions. Most are dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Even with children choosing from Disney movies, The Little House on the Prairie, TV shows, Nintendo's Mario, or more popular favorites from popular culture, many kids find ways to put their own twists on those mass-mediated characters. For example, many young women dress as female versions of the famous pirate. As they make the character their own, they display a microcosm of the ebb and flow of large corporate and media influences in our world. Those impacts are enormous, and social media platforms have particularly significant powers in the lives of young people. Those individual initiatives at Halloween, however, have potentials to spark changes in the rest of their lives. In the face of problems with social media pushing young people to conformity or even depression, an evening of creative play can suggest ways to make more of their own lives their own. Influential platforms do not necessarily mean total institutional control of individual lives. If those kids, or any of us, circulating with technology, can keep our imaginations flowing. To me, these are steps toward dealing with the more unsavory side effects of the wonders of modern technology. What do you think? Please comment below. Some play of imagination can take some pretty dark turns, as with many adding their own twists. The teenager did the same with her parents' work outfit, because then she splattered it with red dye and announced, "I'm a dead Publix employee." Ouch. She was channeling worries about public shootings or other such fears that circulate in our fraught and fight-prone world. At Halloween, there's no hiding from the dark parts of our culture. But this holiday time allows us to experience a version of those dark places in safe ways. A few hours of walking with those scares kept this young woman and everyone around her aware of those dangers, all like Bob Dylan, without preaching. Here are Dylan's lyrics. In a soldier's stance, I aim my hand at the mongrel dogs who teach. Fearing not, I become my enemy in the instant that I preach. It's true. The instant that you preach, you really can turn people off. This teenager did not preach. For the community, she was like a billboard without words, declaring to gun rights and gun control citizens alike, don't ignore these tragedies. Playfulness communicates what direct insistence can't accomplish. It can prompt some wordless contemplation to gain more imaginative uses for the frequently shouted stances favoring security or regulation to address our fears of epidemics of violence. In my day job as a scholar, I research William James, the founder of American psychology. He encourages tapping our sentiments along with our rationalities when discussing topics in disagreement. If you say, it's not guns, but it's people who kill, then get to work on mental health for those people. If you say you are worried about the proliferation of guns, then get to work on addressing people's security fears with fewer turns to those violent tools. Political fighting brings out our worst impulses. Rather than only preaching about the problem, showing the goal that we hope for can draw on the best impulses on each side to stop the tragedies or at least reduce them. If James were here, he would say that these are methods for listening across the commitments in intense debates, enabling recognition of the good things on both sides of the line. Can you do that? That young woman's message would continue to do its cultural work quietly, long after Halloween. Then for that one teen, as for each child in a ghoulish outfit or a joking costume, Halloween serves as a night for dressing up our scares, living them out playfully, and then putting them away at the end of the evening. No immediate action on this or other problems, but some seeds planted for improved possibilities. This is a playful version of a message in this series on healing our cultural wounds, especially episode 1 on learning across our differences. There, I explain ways to listen to each other's comments. What do you think? Please comment below. The Halloween evening with full play of imagination does not offer cures for our enormous challenges. I can understand that mention of lessons for our troubles from a fun holiday scene could generate critiques for seeming to rely on child's play to approach serious issues. Fair enough. I actually welcome serious approaches to our many serious issues. In fact, I deal with these every day in classrooms and in academic writing. But serious talk is not the language of every person. The proposal here is not for complete reliance on lessons from children. The evening and the children do not offer solutions. And why would we want to foist that responsibility on young people anyway? Instead, the point here is for adding some helpful lessons. These may give a boost to the serious approaches. Help them out. How about that? Some paths to fun with a purpose, as with this walkway in a nicely decorated house. pictured here. One of the problems in conventional approaches to problems is the widespread assumption of need for wholesale solutions. Halloween's evening plunge into fanciful stories offers reminders that such absolute answers have their own problems. James talks about the value of taking small steps. He equated them to the power of soft rootlets, stealing in through the crannies of the world. If you've ever had any plumbing problems with little roots gradually busting a big, strong pipe, you know what I mean. Contemporary journalist Anand Giridharadas applies this way of thinking to the arts of persuasion, with small inroads in people's minds adding up to changing minds in larger ways, and with changes that have a chance to endure because the people think it through themselves. By contrast, absolutes are comprehensive but stifling, especially to democratic diversity. Absolutes are uniform. Certainty in answers leads to top-down control in our cultural choices. In addition, waiting for the certainties of absolute answers can lead to just plain overlooking small steps that might help. Partial insights from countless fellow citizens and trains of insights that imagination can set in play, like on Halloween. I vote for keeping open to small steps as ways to maintain our democratic culture, especially for inclusion of the voices of many people. What do you think? Please comment below. Halloween provides a deep pool for exercising our imaginations. Some of its splash may provide clues about ways to deal with countless troubles, and this can work in even bipartisan ways. The diversity of costumed characters offers a portrait of liberal impulses for affirmation of differences. But in place of diverse genders, races, classes, religions, sexualities, abilities, and nationalities, this evening brings another kind of diversity, with the likes of Kermit the Frog in green and werewolves in gray, with Adam and Eve often dressed in their roles, shall we say, almost undressed, and Harriet Tubman and Queen Elizabeth, and more, all roaming the street together. The playful moments of trust across all these differences can serve as a dress rehearsal for life after the holiday fun. In addition, this summoning of human imagination offers a portrait of conservative impulses to trust in human intelligence for solving problems. In addition, All Hallows Eve has some roots in Christian faith, albeit as mixed with really old-time religious traditions. If kids can spin stories from their outfits, and if these pumpkins pictured here can smile at each other despite their differences, what more creativity can emerge from those imaginations encouraged and matured? Got some of your own partisan reflections? Please comment below. While playful fun might provide some clues for grups, that's Star Trek lingo for adults or grown-ups, grups, Halloween is also important for the relation of adults to children, since they will grow up to become the next generation of adults. Listening to children puts our finger on the leafy green edge of the future. Children are the nation's proto-public. What is marinating in their playful worlds will shape tomorrow's earnest ideologies. Kids will grow. Not as big as the monster skeleton pictured here, but they will grow up. On Halloween night, differences are on full display and exaggerated for playful effect. Adults of different parties or in fighting stances often think that the people they disagree with are downright bad. Yeah, that is difficult. but that ain't got nothing on devils and grim reapers. They're first-degree bad. Yet on October 31st, kids walking the streets in character with the mega polarizations of good and evil, of life and death, are laughing and playing with each other. As with ancient Carnival Day, when beggars would be exalted and mighty ones knocked down a peg, if only temporarily, Halloween is a night for reversing our norms. Seeing the bad on full display can prod us to take a second look at all the everyday bad stuff in our lives, not to ignore or excuse it, or to overlook the genuine frustrations and tragedies. As with the actual children beneath the grim outfits, maybe we can learn about the people performing the nasty deeds. Often, with unfathomable cruelty on the world stage and even in everyday life. To figure out how to slow them down or to stop them. And inspired by children's interactions, we can also listen to their followers to dissuade them from supporting those vile siren songs. That won't stop bad things from happening, but it might prevent some future tragedies and keep some people from being drawn into their spells. Dear children of all ages, for your next Halloween, have fun. And notice ways that some of that fun can connect with some broader purposes. That holiday playfulness can seed our imaginations, young and old, and provide clues for coping with our differences. Our political differences and polarized commitments can make some fellow citizens seem so alien. That can lead to distraction from addressing problems and even to overt hostilities. Now imagine an encounter with a child at Halloween, a kid dressed as an alien, a creature from outer space, like the one pictured here. So, you might find yourself saying to the child, "So, you're from a planet far away? What's it like there?" Playful stuff? Sure. But then imagine what it's like in that alienated other person's skin with experiences that in our world are a world away from us. The fun of October 31st can provide lessons for the next day. This podcast from the Public Classroom series, Healing Our Cultural Wounds, Episode 3, Halloween, Lessons from Children About Learning Across Our Differences, takes the series theme in a playful direction with a look at the world of children. The fun in this holiday, with a dark history and recent carnival overtones, shows a path to fun with a purpose, with lessons for us all. On October 31st, those lessons go down easy. Enjoy. Paul Croce, Devin Hernandez, and Lane Davis of Stetson University in DeLand, Florida, work on this public classroom series. For sources used in this podcast, please see the description down below. And stay tuned for future public classroom essays and podcasts providing approaches and context to help you learn across the many differences in our world.